Yo, welcome back to the Audio Theory Podcast featuring your host Superfly and Danny Daybar is open. What's good, man? How you been?
What's good, man? I'm good, man. I got back from, I went away from the weekend. You ever heard of what no-see-um bugs are?
No, never. That sounds scary.
It's not scary. It's just annoying. I think they're actually unique to Florida. It's like kind of like a mosquito bite, but you only feel the bite like a day later. So I went out to like a place, St. Augustine, Florida. I think it's like the oldest city in America. It was ruled by like the Spanish when they first came here, like in the 1600s or whatever. But so we were like right by the water. I'm like, oh, this is a fucking beautiful spot. I guess they like love being by the water as well. So I see them like on me, and I'm like, all right, man, they're not like they're biting me, but it doesn't hurt, so I'm fine. Bro, I wake up the next night covered as if they're biting me right now, though. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like, are they still in my skin? Like, bro, it's like, I'm like, it's so much pain, bro. It's like, I've been dealing with that shit for the past like 48 hours. And it's like lotion, like calamine lotion, like none of that shit works. So you just have to fucking just deal with it, which is like the most annoying shit. But like how it's still itchy, legit, bro. I'm like, no exaggeration, close to 72 hours after is like, what the fuck?
Yeah, no, I hate that shit. I remember when, like an actual mosquito story. I was in Europe by myself, and I just heard the fucking buzzing for like, I kid you not, maybe 4 to 5 hours straight. Like I was trying to go to sleep, and this motherfucker would not leave me alone. It was just one of them. And it got to the point where I was literally hiding under the sheets just because it was trying to get under the sheets. And eventually, I had to just fucking turn on the lights and wait for it to come get me so I could fucking destroy it. I was ready to destroy the Airbnb just so I could go to sleep because this little ass mosquito was just buzzing in my ear all fucking night. I can't stand bugs.
Do they get you good though? Like, do they really attack you, or you're like, you could be fine?
It depends. Like if I'm out in the wilderness where like near still water or some shit, I'll get fucked up for sure. But normally I don't get bit too bad. Or like
I always get bit bad, bro. I don't know if it's like just like Dominican blood got a different kind of fucking like vet like blood in it that they like, but I always get fucking destroyed. But
I think they like sweet blood.
It might be Caribbean, maybe like the sugarcane blood in me. Dude, I had a phenomenal weekend that I went to St. Augustine. So it was cool. My girl, it was like a surprise trip. My girl recreated a trip that my mom went on her last time visiting. So like a year and a half ago. So we recreated like every moment, even like a cool picture we took together. So super dope. But yeah, did you guys ever come? You guys are meant to be coming back down to Florida like next year, right?
Yeah.
So dude, if you guys come back down, we have time. Even if you want to put that on the itinerary, it's like 3 hours away from me. Dude, small ass city, bro. You can do everything in a day and a half. But like dope bars, great food, and then a ton of historical shit from like legit like the beginning of America. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah. No, I saw that picture on I think it was Facebook of like you and your mom merged.
Yeah.
It was like perfectly merged. It was weird.
Yeah. Dude, I was on Photoshop for a fucking hour. I was like, bro, like, please.
You would have fooled me. I thought you just used some random ass app that was like, all right, I'm gonna split this one in half, done.
Yeah. No, because I think my mom was whoever took her picture of her was closer to her than like Sarah was with me. But yeah, man, it was a dope moment. Like bittersweet, obviously, but good for the soul, good for the mind, and then just good to get out of my apartment, for more than a day. So really good. How was your weekend?
Weekend was good. I'm trying to remember what I did. I don't think I really did much, to be honest. Just kind of kicked it at home. Chilled, ordered in, watched a couple movies, played video games. Like that's kind of my that's my ideal weekend. Just doing nothing, but not as often as we have been doing.
Right.
That shit drives me crazy.
It's ideal when like you have other options, but it's like it's ideal because it is the only option. You just also happen to fucking enjoy it.
Yeah,
I'm also like a homebody, bro, and I'm like, I love being home, but it's like, damn, I wish I had like the option to turn shit down. You know what I mean? Like,
right?
Niggas invited me. I'm like, yes, I will be there. Like, don't worry. No questions asked. I will drive 3 hours to see you. No problem.
Oh yeah, I'm not. As soon as this shit opens up any person who invites me to anything, I'm there. I don't give a fuck if it's reading a book in your living room and sipping tea.
Facts, bro. I'm out. But we're actually recording on a Tuesday, normally a Wednesday. So are you guys having like plans for July 4th?
No, it's really not anything significant. I'm just getting a facial tomorrow. Pause.
Oh, nice.
At some spot in K-Town with my girl, because through her company, I think it's through her company, they have some deals or some shit, and she's always huge on taking care of your skin, and I've been into it recently too. So I'm like, this was the only time that she was gonna go, and I was too lazy to go on my own, so I was like, fuck it, we'll just go together.
Yeah, dude, I need to get one also. Like, I haven't got, I think the last facial I got, pause, was like a year ago. So like, yeah, actually, like, you should probably be doing one like for at least a guy like every 4 to 5 months probably. So yeah, a year's been a minute. So yeah, cool. All right. I'm actually driving back up to New York on Thursday for July 4th. I'm gonna stay out there for 2 weeks. It's also my aunt's birthday, bro. But like, yo, New York is putting mad regulations on people coming from like 14 different states, Florida being one of them. So, bro, like, there's a good chance, like, driving in, if I get pulled over, like, if they want to be a dick, they could be like, yo, here's a fine for even thinking you could be in the state. Like,
yeah.
You know, like,
well, you got Florida plates, right?
Or Florida plates,
oh,
bro.
Shit.
Like, the first day might be an issue just because, like, I'm going to be driving around back and forth and shit. It won't be an issue while I'm there because I will have my uncle's car. So, New Jersey plates. Yeah. Also marine tags. So I was like, bro, you ain't fucking with me regardless. I can have a fucking Florida flag out the window. You ain't doing shit. You know what I mean? So it's pretty much like, pray to God I don't get pulled over those first 48 hours. And after that, I'm straight.
You just paint your shit yellow.
Nah. Just. Because I feel like that would be like I was thinking about like all those movies you remember as a kid, like fucking the Transporter, where you push a button and shit just changes.
Oh yeah,
I'm like, if I had that right now, like that would be fucking ideal.
I vividly remember that scene. I'm waiting for something to happen in my life where I need to like be that fucking sketchy. But
well, I need that right now, so I guess I'm that sketchy right now because I'm like, bro, I legit once I hit New York, I need like. But what's funny, so July 4th, bro, I'm actually wearing my USA soccer jersey. But dude, with everything, and this is not even on the rundown, but I figured I'd ask you because like a good conversation, I think at least. But like, yo, do we even have any American pride that we're actually excited for Independence Day? Because like, yo, I'm going to a July 4th barbecue with my entire side of the family. So like, I'm looking forward to that. But at no point am I like, and again, I probably look back, I don't think I've ever been like, it's America's Day, let's go. But like, I feel like more than ever this year, I'm definitely like, I don't give a fuck about Independence Day, bro. Like, this is like, like I don't give a shit at all. So I wonder, like, if you lost some American pride yourself, because the answer for me is yes. Have you lost American pride yourself throughout like all this happening over the last like 3 months?
Yeah, I mean, similar to you, like on July 4th, I've never thought too deep into it in previous years. Like, I know people fucking rock American jersey like tank tops and stuff, but I've never thought too deep into it other than like, oh, I'm American, like let's drink and just have fun on this day because it's summer.
For me, that's more like a fashion statement than a fucking like political patriotic one.
Similar to you, like I feel a little weird about things. I mean, I'm obviously proud to be American, but I feel like I can't shout it, you know, from the rooftops or the mountaintops and celebrate it the same way I might have done, like, I don't know, when everyone was coming together after 9/11 or something like that.
Right.
Like, it just doesn't feel the same. I know some people who are, you know, like over the top patriots might feel some type of way about that, like, oh, get the fuck out of here if you don't like this country. I think it's not that I don't like the country, it's just that I feel like right now there's a lot of heavy emotions and it's just difficult to pretend like everything's fine and dandy and like, you know, I can just sip this beer carefree and not give a fuck about what's going on, sort of thing.
Yeah, I feel it. Yeah, it's just like I agree. Like, I've never gone into any like Independence Day like, yo, let's go American pride. But I feel like there's definitely like not even an ounce of that going into this year. Like, none.
Yeah,
I was having another conversation with like my boy and I was like, bro, like this is the end of America as like the great nation. Like, I feel like as we know it. Because like even like, again, not to get political, but like even if Biden fucking wins, bro, like we're lucky if he survives all 4 years, just for like, you know, dementia not kicking in completely, or like, bro, how the fuck are two candidates are fucking 70 plus? Like, bro, like that's, I know people have said this joke before, but it really makes sense. Like, that's the last person I want making decisions for me as a 31-year-old, bro. Like, I have my entire life ahead of me, and your decisions will determine that when you maybe have 3 years left in your life. Like, yo, like I feel like that doesn't correlate well for people our age.
Yeah, I'm concerned too. And I feel like at best, if he is elected, like it's gonna be the same thing as what's our lives aren't really gonna change much, except it's gonna be the racists and stuff who are more vocal about, you know, see, Biden did this wrong and he said this and this. I feel like the media is gonna side with him, so we're at least not gonna have to hear about bullshit as often, maybe from Fox News, but I don't know if Biden's really gonna change much.
Yeah. No, yeah, I agree. I think we're I don't know if we're fucked either way, but I was telling you that I think last week, like, yeah, it just sucks that I feel like every great, you know, patriarch, like, you know, the British monarchy, the Spanish, the Romans, like they all had their time. And then in hindsight, fucking what America's time is gonna be, what, 50 years? That's like nothing in the scheme of things, right? Like the fucking British had like, what, 200 years of fucking world domination. The Persians were, what, thousands of years, I think, and we had, what, from dropping those bombs on Hiroshima to 2020, like, bro, that's like 60 years, 62 years, like that's nothing, dude. So, again, I hope I'm wrong. Like, I mean, I don't really give a fuck if we're the number 1 or number 25 country in the world in whatever fucking ranking. Like, I just want to have a good place, you know, live my life and raise my kids in, you know. But it's just funny how when you grow up with such dominance in like everything, right, and then to see it, like, holy shit, things are different, and like the rest of the world really does not fuck with us at all. And I think rightly so. It's just wild that would happen in such a quick, you know, part of your life, bro. Like, I remember being in an internet, like being at the American school in New Delhi, India, when I was like 13, and like thinking like I would see how like other kids from other schools would look at us like, damn, those are the American school kids, like, wow, they're so like special, blah blah blah. Like now they're like, yo, look at these fucking retards.
It's so true, because I actually work with a guy who's based out of India. He's Indian himself, and he reached out to me like a couple weeks back, and he's like, hey, like, how are things in America? Like, I know you guys are dealing with some difficult times. I just want to make sure everything's okay. And it was just really weird hearing that, not because I didn't appreciate him mentioning that, but more so I guess growing up in America, you just always feel like it's this carefree world and nothing ever really that bad is going to happen. And now, like, other people from other countries who some people might label as or deem like underprivileged or whatever, which many of them are, the fact that these countries or people from these countries are looking at us like, oh, we got all this baggage and shit to deal with, makes it very apparent like how serious and crazy shit is getting on our turf.
Dude, so I saw someone posted this shit, which was like was great. Like, imagine if like this is the end of America. It's like a extreme fucking level, like extreme, and then you want to leave here and go to another country as a refugee, and then they turn you away and put you in a prison camp the way America puts other people that come here. And it's like, how would you feel about that? And it's like, I'm like, wow, that is fucking crazy, bro. Like, that is wild. Like, thinking that you would ever leave America as a fucking someone who's seeking refuge somewhere else. That's wild. And again, it's probably not that bad, but it's just like, it's just wild that we're even thinking about that, bro. Because when I keep seeing those fucking COVID lines going up and everyone else is going all the way down to the floor, I'm like, bro, what the fuck are we doing?
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing? Like, bro.
It's just privilege. I mean, my girl was telling me about this dude in Orange County. For those who don't know, it's for the most part a pretty upscale area of Southern California. Some dude was like arguing with on TV about his son having to wear masks during soccer games or some shit like that, and he was just furious, like, how's my son supposed to play, blah blah. And I'm like, dude, people are out here literally dying, and you're concerned about your son's fucking soccer match. And I'm like, I understand this is inconvenient in my mind, but there's people in other countries that are dealing with way worse shit on a daily basis, and it's insane that someone could be so spoiled that not being able to play a sport without this minor inconvenience is like a big deal that you have to broadcast on national television. Meanwhile, there's this kid who's like walking 5 miles to find fresh water from some fucking pond or some shit. It's just crazy how that works.
Yeah, dude, like all those people who are so aggressive, like, I should have to wear a mask, it's not gonna do anything. I'm like, bro, like, just put the mask on. Like, what is the mask telling you? Like, what is that? Like, what do you think you're giving into by just, all right, if the off chance it helps protect one person because of a 1% increase of not spreading a virus, bro, just put the fucking mask on, bro. Like, why is, like, these videos of, like, people, like, losing their fucking mind, dude, white, black, Asian, whoever, like, legit just feel so offended that anyone would even ask them to do that. I'm like, bro, like, come on, man. Like, if you don't care about your health, that's fine. But like, just the idea you can help someone else out by by wearing it, and you're still like furious, ready to fucking like legit like kill someone. Like, you're wilding, my dude. You're fucking wilding the fuck out.
And guess what, motherfuckers? I don't want the common cold or the actual flu or any of that shit either. So I'm happy with wearing masks. I'm fine. I go home knowing that I might not have to fucking, you know, have my nose completely clogged because this person's sick of whatever. Like, I think a lot of Asian countries have adopted this in general already, so they're kind of ahead of the curve. Americans don't want to do shit.
Fire like Nike or Louis Vuitton off-white masks though, because my masks are trash. But like, I definitely want to like invest in like a fucking like couple fire ones to like match with some outfits and shit.
That would be dope if we had an Audio 31.
Dude, we might have to do that. Like, add that to like the merch list, like t-shirts and masks.
Like what's his name did? Takashi did with Trolls.
Trolls, yeah. We might have to fucking do that, bro. Maybe that help our stream numbers by just fucking start it.
And then have all the podcasters call us out for gaming the system.
Yeah, but it felt very real. So I'll ask you about like what's happening like in our both our home cities, but bro, but when I was in St. Augustine, so that's like, dude, north as fuck Florida. Like, you're about to leave the state. So like, it's a little bit lax there. Their numbers are pretty low in general, but it was a very populated area that I was in because it's like obviously like a major city there. Bro, I was walking down this alleyway and it was very crowded, bro. And I didn't have a mask on either at the time, but I saw no one had a mask on. So I look at my girl, I'm like, baby, give me my fucking mask right now. And I threw that shit on because I was like, bro, like, I was just very aware, like, yo, there were 10,000 cases today in Florida, and I'm still in Florida, and then no one gives a fuck. You know what I mean? Like, no one gives a fuck, dude. Like, I went to one bar, because first, mind you, I picked not the worst weekend to go, but dude, it was like 103 degrees while we were sightseeing. So, yo, we're fucking, like, dying out there. So I run into a wine bar. They just passed a law the night before that any bar that 51% of their revenue is from alcohol cannot be open. Okay, so
wait, sorry, say that again. 51%. If that, just say it again.
If your revenue is 51% from liquor sales, you cannot be open during this shit. Like, you have to shut down. So people are because they think that the virus is because people are just at bars fucking getting drunk and like not social distancing, blah blah blah.
How do they assess that?
They look at your tickets. So like, if they come in and go through your tickets for like the past couple of weeks and they see that it's mainly been alcohol, they'll shut you down and give you a fine. Wow. So I walked into this wine bar. I guess they had food in the menu, so they were getting like kind of by it, blah blah blah. But so I ordered these 2 sangrias, and she's like, "Hey, you can't drink that in here, but I have really bad vision. So if you go sit over there, maybe I won't be able to see you." And I was like, bro, like, this is what's wrong with America. Like, bro, just tell me, get the fuck out. You can't drink it here. You know what I mean? Like I would never push back. And I'm like, all right, that's the rule. No problem. Like, it was just like shit like that has to be happening everywhere, bro. And again, Florida's not getting any better. I think it's been like, 14 days straight now of like a plus 8,000 cases. Yeah, dude. So the bars are closing down. Restaurants are still open. Beaches are all closed for July 4th weekend. And I saw in LA, like shit's getting as bad over there too, right?
Yeah, it's bad. LA County just essentially closed all the bars and everything again. I mean, I haven't really noticed it.
Right? Restaurants are open for dine-in or just take out?
Yeah, I mean, they must be, because I went today, not to dine in, but to pick up food, and there's people outside chilling. Okay. So that still seems to be in effect. I'm actually going to Joshua Tree in a few weeks. I know that county probably isn't closed, and either way, it's like literally one of the most secluded places in Southern California. So I'm not too worried about that. But yeah, it's wild. I mean, it's been how long now? What, March, April, May, June? Like, damn.
Mid-July will be, in 2 weeks it'll be 4 months exactly.
This is the longest fucking 4 months on the planet. Yeah. Like, I swear we've been doing this for 4 years already. I can't believe it's only been 4 months.
Yeah, it's wild, dude. Yeah, dude, it's just like, I don't see an end in sight. You know what I mean? Because I feel like I'm not even fucking with a vaccine, like, bro, because like the European nations and South Korea never got a vaccine and they're like back to normal.
Yeah.
So like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck? Like,
yeah.
So why can't we just like, all right, own that we fucked up and just replicate whatever the fuck they're doing? Like, if we gotta close shit down again, close it down. But I think like the government came back and said, like, the U.S. government came back and said, like, yo, closing down is not an option. It's like, we just need to figure it out. I'm like, then figure it out, bro, because like, this shit's wild. Like, the fuck you mean? Wanted like 23, like they were doing a test here in Miami. First of all, Miami's like the worst of all Florida, bro. Like, bad. They're like 22% of every test coming back positive, which is fucking crazy, bro. That's like 1 in 5.5 people is fucking coming back with a positive result. That's fucking insane, dude. So like, yeah, bro, it's really bad, man. And our I seen that the video today of like the governor of Florida. Like, this is what I said last week, bro. Like, he was fucking puffing his chest out, saying, "I told you, motherfuckers, we got this under control." And now he's like, well, the Mexicans and Cubans here, you know, they really.
I saw he did kind of remind. He has similar mannerisms to Trump.
Oh, mini Trump, bro, all day. He loves it. Like, he's a Trump puppet in every single way, dude. In every way.
But yeah, I think for a lot of people, it's almost like this boogeyman effect where we don't really know anyone who's been affected by it. We don't see it because it's a virus. So for a lot of people, like, they legitimately think it doesn't exist. Like, I saw a video of this racist Uber passenger who had a Hispanic, I think he was Mexican, driver, and he was calling him a wetback and shit because the driver told him to put on a mask. He's like, "Sir, can you please put on a mask? Like, we're very close to each other in the same vehicle." And he's like, "Fuck you." He's like, "You can't tell me what to do, you boy." He's like, "You wetback," and just going off. And he was like, and this is the funny thing that all these like racist motherfuckers do is they provoke you and then they play the innocence game. Like, "Oh, I'm so professional." He's like, "You can't just let me out here." He's like, "It's not in the contract." He's like, "I'm going to call Lyft and report this as an issue." And then when that little tactic didn't work, then he went the violent route and was like, "I want to smash your fucking skull in."
Wow.
Of course, the Uber driver had it all on camera, so he was calm. But it's just insane that people are so spoiled. Like, I can't think of any other better word than that. Like, they just like it's almost like America's the land of the free. Is a detriment to some people because they think you can just literally treat people any way you want and not take into consideration what consequences it's going to have for everyone else. It's like, "Oh, we love America and Americans, but if it inconveniences me, then fuck you."
Yeah, 100%, 100%, bro. Like you said, it's privilege. It's a privileged perspective. Like, it's like this is affecting my life worse than it's affecting your life, so we need to fix this for me, not for everyone. Yeah, dude, I don't know when it's gonna fucking get solved. Again, I really hope they can figure some shit out, man, because they're just, I don't know about California, but I've seen like really positive things out of like your governor, but you know, the shit's still bad over there, right? So like, is it just too lax? Like, it's like, yeah, you can't go out, but go to the supermarket whatever you want, and go to Target whatever you want, and you can order out food, and like, It's like, bro, like, do we make this shit stricter? Like, I don't know what the fuck the answer is, man. But clearly other countries have fucking solved this shit. Like, we gotta just, dude. But other states have, like, New York was the worst out of anywhere in the world, and this shit is amazing right now. Like, amazing. Like, they just shut shit down. No one's fucking going out to work unless you're a fucking legit and essential fucking worker. And end of fucking conversation. Like, bro, we will show up to your fucking house parties if you have more than 10 people. Like,
they're just not strict. My girl's off. She has to fucking fill out a form to make a case for why she shouldn't go back to the office. Like, she has to get a doctor's note saying, I have a pre-existing condition. I feel uncomfortable being in the vicinity of this many people, XYZ. And I'm like, yo, just fucking Google CNN or some shit. Like, you can't just read the article and see that the shit still exists and work from home. You've been doing it for 4 months. Why the fuck do you need to go back now?
So they're trying to get her back in the office?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
And like, they've been fine this whole time. What the fuck is the point?
Dude, I wonder if this is like their way of trying to let people go.
No, I think I mean, maybe, but like, see who's like a real one, who's loyal and shit.
Yeah, or just say like, hey, well, we supported you and we now feel it's safe, but if you don't think it's safe, then maybe this is not a good fit for you, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. I hope that's not the case, but I wonder, like, because it doesn't make any sense otherwise. Like, why now? I
think her boss is one of the skeptics because she was like fucking hosting big ass dinner parties and shit at her house when this was like when the real hysteria was going around, like, what was it, mid-April or something, when people were literally thought they were all gonna die. Like, the founder was hosting dinner parties and stuff low key at her house, so she clearly doesn't give a fuck about anybody.
But what's crazy, dude, is like you said, like in April when the hysteria was like wild, and there was only, I say that very loosely, only like 2,000, 3,000 cases nationwide, and now we're approaching 2 million cases, and people are like, bro, I don't go fuck, bro. Just like, yo, let me go outside. Like, yo, like, I don't go, like, let me go to a bar, please. Like, it's just wild how, like you said, if it hasn't really affected you in these past 4 months, you just assume that, I'm not gonna get this shit. Like, it's, like, I'm immune to it. It's like, bro, you probably already had it like 5 times and just didn't know about it.
Yeah. That's really what it is. People are like, I either had it, or if I get it, going to the club for a couple nights is worth dying over.
Yeah, yo, I legit, I think, I don't know if I mentioned this before, but I think I legit had it in January, bro. Like, I'm like 95% sure, because this is like when like the first case started popping up in America. I think they're in December, and like, bro, it was January, and like, I didn't have difficulty breathing, but my lungs had an insane amount of pressure, bro. Like, someone was punching me, like, right here. Like, and I was like, bro, what the fuck is going on? So I went to get an x-ray. This is why I know I had it. The x-ray came back with a ton of inflammation. And they were like, well, you must have COPD. And if people, like, COPD is like a lung disease for people who, like, are chain smokers, bro. Well, I'm like, well, I don't smoke, so, like, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, oh, never mind. Then you just must be like really, because you're really tall. That's why they looked inflamed. It'll go away after some time. Don't worry about it. And I'm like, what the fuck? Because I didn't have any other symptoms. So they were like, oh, it must be nothing. But bro, like that had to be it, bro. Like, why else would my lungs just fucking be unbearable to like fucking walk without fucking feeling like a massive like kick in the fucking, like, yo. Yeah. So I'm pretty sure, again, I can take an antibodies test or whatever to figure it out for sure. But like, yo, there was like mid-January, almost February, and I remember like being like, bro, like what the fuck is happening right now, bro? Like, I'm healthy, thank God. Like, I don't have any other issues. Like, why the fuck would it feel like legit someone is sitting on my fucking ribcage right now?
Yeah, I've heard. I mean, even we self-diagnosed myself, saying it was the Colombian flu, but that shit was awful. Probably
that shit was different.
The second most sick I've been in my entire life, probably. Like, I was ready to go. But what's scary is both of my roommates' boyfriends, or people, one of them's dating someone and the other's kind of seeing someone. Both of their significant others have developed flu-like symptoms, have like chills and all kinds of shit. And it's really hard because like this stuff is actually, I don't know if it's normal in the summer, but I mean, generally speaking, these things wouldn't freak us out. They wouldn't have 2 years ago, but now like anytime somebody's has more than just like the sniffles, like it's fucking terrifying.
Yeah. Yeah, it's wild, bro. So yeah, I just really hope, you know, we can figure this shit out soon, bro. Because again, the year is flying by. It would suck. Again, I don't think it's gonna be a wasted year. Again, I really do think, and not to get like super philosophical, but I think this year is like it's happening for a reason. Like maybe we need to learn about what you know underlining issues we have as a society. You know what I mean? And probably resolve that. Obviously, like all this like racial tension is probably a good thing. That like, all right, we have a time where there's no distractions. We can finally address shit that actually is causing severe hurt.
Yeah.
So that's a positive, right? So obviously people died as a result, but like maybe that is what ignites this whole thing to finally change. So
for sure.
Again, hopefully, like I think the thing about Hassan Minaj post, like hopefully, yeah, in 10 years when people are looking back at this time, there'll be a ton of good things that came out of it. Even though right now, man, it's super hard to figure out what the fuck that's gonna be.
Yeah. No, I've definitely learned a lot about myself and just the world in general this year. So as depressing as some aspects of it can be, I'm hoping we'll just reinvent like how we've been doing things moving forward, because I'm sure there's a lot of inefficient shit that we can scrap away like after having to deal with all this stuff.
Yeah, dude. And also what doesn't make any fucking sense to me is that how this is like the worst time in the world, like legit, like since like World War II or some shit.
Yeah.
And the stock market is through the roof.
Like, yep, I know. I'm checking my shit. I'm like, all right, I guess I'm fine. Like, it was like, terrible for a minute, but
for a minute,
now it's
bro.
fine.
But like, holy shit! Like, I legit had a meeting today with a money manager guy, and he showed me the returns. I'm like, but this doesn't make any sense. Like,
yeah.
Like, how the fuck is this shit so high right now, bro? Like, I think like from like beginning of March to like now, like shit's gonna come out like in a week. It's gonna be like even, like
yeah,
like even, like how the fuck is that possible, bro? Like, but yeah, I mean, it just is what it is. It's a crazy fucking time, which is a perfect segue to the title of episode 35, Summertime Madness, because shit's crazy right now, as we know. So we really talked about a lot of the craziness happening for with Rona and politics. So let's move on to some more positive things. The BET Award, bro. Did you get a chance to catch any of it?
I didn't have a chance to catch it. I did hear about it though. Did they have an actual audience or no?
No. It was all virtual.
Nice.
So I saw a little bit of it. Amanda Steele did a good job hosting it. My favorite parts were the DaBaby and Roddy Ricch did a whole fucking performance for Black Lives Matter for Rockstar. Really dope. I didn't actually made that song go back to number 1 on the charts like after people saw that the full performance.
Oh wow.
And Kobe did a fucking great. He had a song. Lil Wayne had a great song about Kobe like 10 years ago.
Oh, I was like, damn, Kobe made a song?
Right, he did fucking dropped like Tupac. Yeah, Lil Wayne did a song about Kobe that he made 10 years ago, which was cool. And then he had like a couple lines about acknowledging like Gigi and Vanessa. So yeah, those were probably my 2 standout moments. But I thought that was a pretty cool thing, man. Like a nice distraction, but still paying homage to they weren't oblivious to what's happening in the world now, right? It wasn't just like, oh, right, the best rapper is DaBaby. Have a great time. Thank God. It was like, all right, life sucks right now, but hey, let's talk about it, but also embrace that other cool shit has happened in 2019/2020. So
yeah, that would have been blasphemous if all networks, or if BET out of all networks hadn't have made a message of some sort.
Right, they had to, but you had to come correct with BET. But yeah, DaBaby couldn't just do some dumbass shit. Like, it was cool that he like the visuals. If you watch the video at some point, like the visuals for that entire setup were super dope. What's crazy is that like they're clearly lip syncing, but then like, all right, they probably lip sync in like all of their videos anyway.
Yeah.
But like this shit was blatantly obvious. Like that was like. Like, I'm like, bro, like Roddy Ricch, I know you use autotune, bro. It's like, there's no way you're just like hitting these high notes.
Yeah.
And, like, bro, just, like,
wait, was he doing this shit like in his bedroom, or it was just only them in this arena or something?
It was essentially like, yeah, like pretty much think about like think about like 6ix9ine, where he had an entire set. So like it was
Oh,
a
okay.
full set.
Oh, got it.
Yeah, so it was, but it was just no one there besides the camera people and whoever was also performing with them. So yeah, like Lil Wayne was at his house, but he had his own set up. And it, so it was everyone separate, but yeah, I'm like, bro, the Roddy Ricch, there's no fucking way like you're hitting these nuts right now. Like I know you're not singing. Like they were like trying to like use the microphone to really like cover their mouths. So you couldn't like. I'm like, bro,
muscles on his cheekbones.
Yeah. I was like, bro, this shit sounds way too clear right now, bro. There's no way.
Man, that's hilarious. I gotta watch it because I don't know how I'd feel. I mean, like just with everything in general, things are weird to me without an actual audience. It almost becomes a podcast, and I go to podcasts for that experience. Right. Like when it comes to movies and award shows and stuff like that, it just doesn't feel the same. I know some people feel differently, like they prefer to watch movies at home and stuff, but me personally, I think a lot of people do enjoy the crowd reactions because it makes the experience that much.
So how do you feel about like, I mean, I personally don't think movies are coming back, but I do think drive-ins are gonna fucking go through the roof. So how do you feel? Like, would you be cool with that experience?
Yeah, I'd be down for that 100%. And I heard drive-in concerts are actually gonna start to become a thing too. I know I got a sponsored ad on Instagram for Kyle. He was doing a drive-in concert in like Long Beach or something. Really? I wasn't about to pay for that shit because it was like $200, and like I don't like his music enough to do that. But
dude, he actually puts on I don't like his music either, but he actually puts on a fucking phenomenal performance.
That's what I have.
Yeah, him and his DJ are mad fucking cool, and you can tell that. It's like, yo, they just start dancing at some point again. Like, yo, it's actually like a fucking like. I like 2 of his songs, but his actual like stage presence is very good.
I think it might have been if he was interviewing with Power. What's the station in New York?
Power 105.
Is it 98.5 or some shit? Hot 98.5 or something?
Oh, Hot 97.
Yeah, Hot 97. I think they were interviewing him, and it might have been Ebro or someone else, but they basically were saying they weren't expecting his performance to be that good because he kind of gives off that like corny pop vibe, and you don't expect him to be like a quote unquote quintessential MC or anything. But I heard, but whoever it was that saw his show was like, wow, like he's actually got a lot of talent and knows how to like manage the crowd and have stage presence and everything. So that was cool to hear.
Yeah, dude, it's wild how like that's evolved over the years, which makes me like, as I say this story, probably makes me like miss concerts more. But dude, I remember, even though I was young, like even if you look like the old like VMAs or like Source Awards or BET Awards, like bro, it could be the biggest rapper or performer of that time, and like bro, like there'll be like 20 other dudes on stage with them just yelling, and like the fans are just like standing there, like, all right, cool. And I really think it was like the Jay-Z, Kanye, Drake era that made like, yo, no, bro, we are gonna fucking properly perform, bro.
Like this shit is a show.
Yeah, this is a show, bro. Like I'm gonna earn the money you spent for you to be here, bro. Cause like now it's a fucking like, bro, like if you're not jumping around, then like, bro, that's not my fault. That's like you're the performer's fault, bro. So like, it's funny how that's evolved, bro. Cause I remember being like concert, like when I was a kid, I'm like, hey, it's cool, like I'm here, but like I'm not fucking like, oh my god, this shit's crazy.
Right,
like, bro. Whereas now I'm like fucking losing my mind like during the intro. So like,
all I know is once this shit opens up, I'm going to one concert like every single fucking week.
Every week, every Friday night, or like two, like yeah, for sure. Dude. I got all my PTO still saved. So like, yeah, I'm gonna fucking just use it the next day to fucking sleep in and like recover. Facts. Yeah.
Little concert, big concert, I don't give a fuck.
Facts, bro. So speaking about stage presence, so did you get a chance to watch any of the versus battle last night?
I saw a bit of it. Jada got a little tipsy.
A little bit, yo, wasted, bro. But dude, was the best versus out of all them shits, bro. I won't say better than the reggae one with Beanie Man, but. Because that one had like a more like that was like a moment like, wow, reggae really is showing the rest of the world how these things should be done. But as far as like a hip hop moment, this was it, bro. Like 2 dudes who just have so many fucking hits, and the way they were going back and forth in this, and like the stage. At first, it was like just them sitting down in a chair, and I'm like, bro, what the fuck am I watching right now? But bro, after like Jadakiss came out with a song and then Fab was down like 0 to 2 songs. You saw him like, fuck, I need to come with some extra shit. So he started performing, and then Jadakiss kept drinking. Bro, like, if you haven't, I would watch that full thing on YouTube. It is fucking phenomenal. Dude, first of all, leading up to it, I was like, Jadakiss is gonna get his ass beat, bro. I'm like, Fab has hits. He's loved by every artist. But bro, Jadakiss, fucking killed this dude. Like, killed this dude.
But how do they determine who wins? Voting?
Oh, like the fans vote. Yeah, the fans, like the overall consensus. But bro, like me, who's a fucking Fabolous head, I was like, bro,
I would have put my money on Fabolous.
I would have put everything I own on Fabolous. I'm like, Fabolous has fucking Grammys, Billboard hits. Like, this shit's like, what are we even doing? Like, why are we wasting our time?
Yeah, we said it. It was our first episode, I think. We said, or maybe second one. We said, Fabolous is like what Drake could. He could have been what Drake is, basically.
Right. Because there was so much potential there, right? So I'm like, bro, like, what the fuck? But bro, Jadakiss had this like confident, like underdog to me, like legit, like he's like, bro, I got nothing to lose, so let me just do it, And this you forget how many dope features he's on, like during that whole like Rough Riders like time in life. Whereas like, and that was like peak Swiss beats, like all those fucking beats just hit so aggressively. You're like, oh, Fab, you can't fuck with this dog. Like you can't come with I'm So Into You, and he comes out with the most aggressive Rough Riders anthem song of all time. You're like, But bro, it was great. And you also found out that he wrote on that song with Diddy, Busta Rhymes, and and Biggie, Victory. He wrote Diddy's entire verse, so he used that verse in the fucking battle.
And
shit. Like when the beat dropped, you're just like, whoa, what the like that's like. I was telling my boy, like, that's like, I'm mad it was a Monday. It should be like a Saturday. That's like a thing you watch with your boys, and like you all just like drinking and just like, damn, he played that song. Like, bro, it was phenomenal. But what's wild, bro, like, at its peak last night, I think it had like 280,000 people watching only. I'm like, bro, how the fuck does Tekashi get 2 million people to hop on? And like, this is legit like the realest hip hop has ever gotten. And this shit only had 280K.
Well, I mean, I feel like it's so the people who are watching on that are probably most of them are probably like 35 years old minimum. I know you and I both like Jadakiss and Rough Riders and all that, but I don't think anyone younger than me or us
was really checking in for that.
Yeah. Whereas Tekashi has like a fleet of fucking the Barbs, 15-year-olds and shit, like. And then the random people who just want to see him do something crazy. So it's just different, I guess.
Yeah, I guess, dude. But yeah, that was like a great moment in hip hop, I think. And it was just good for New York, bro. It's what's wild to me is that like these are two New York MCs that never really reached stardom, right? Like they never yes, they're celebrities, they're successful, they millions in the bank, took care of their families. But bro, these guys at their peak were never it. And that they could have a catalog like that just made me like proud to be like a New York fucking, New Yorker, bro. I was like, damn. Cause like, bro, like we do this like a city by city thing. Like, bro, like you gotta be the guy to have hits like that. Like no fucking like the number one guy in LA or like, I don't know, fucking Atlanta doesn't have the catalog that fucking Fabolous has. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So, it's wild how like the middle of the tier rappers in New York could still be that big of a fucking overall hip hop persona. And again, it just goes back to like, New York really being like the epicenter of what hip hop is at its core. Obviously, I know there's times where like Atlanta's taking over shit on the radio or LA has its moments, but like I feel like at its core, when New York is on top in hip hop, I feel like hip hop overall is in a really cool spot.
Oh, for sure. And like the last time I hung out with my brothers when we went to Nevada, he actually brought I think I mentioned it, he brought a karaoke machine and we basically just went on YouTube and rapped the songs that we liked. And I totally forgot that how much people like DMX and Jadakiss and Fabolous had an influence on me growing up in terms of hip hop. With a lot of obviously West Coast music sprinkled in, but a lot of it was like DMX and Fabolous and shit. And I can't recall too many artists from other areas that influenced me nearly as much. Like Atlanta artists, I love them to death, like T.I. and Outkast and all that stuff, but
100%.
like
No,
it just doesn't hit the same.
That's a different class, though. Like Outkast is a different class. Like again, but that's like the top of the top, right? Like you don't know that fucking eighth good rapper in Atlanta because maybe he had that one hit song and then just went away. You know what I mean? Like it's wild how like these guys were like legit like in like the roster of New York hip hop. Like you could probably go through like 15 other people before you really get to them, and they still are like so impactful in what hip hop is, which is Dude, like, but think about even like G Unit, bro. Like how big they were. Like I remember being at an amusement park at the age of like 13, 14, and like every time the roller coaster went down, me and my boys just yell for no fucking reason. You know what I mean? Like just besides like that was like the culture at the time. Like that's how big G Unit was. Like wherever you could incorporate them into your life, you had to. Like bro, like that's,
I bought all their. I was like 13 too, and asked for fucking G Unit apparel for Christmas. Just like a fucking black hoodie that said G Unit on it. I was obsessed with them.
I had the Reebok, the RBK G Unit sneakers. Bro, I had their fucking tank tops that didn't really make sense, but it was still like fire. Like, because like I was like, bro.
Those like fucking military looking ones?
No, it was like I guess too. So like, you know like how most like white beaters like come down like a jersey and then go wide. So theirs like come down just to the shoulder and then start like up here.
Oh
like, bro,
yeah. I remember
like,
those.
So different from every other white beater. I was like, bro, this is
it's
fire.
Like a bulletproof vest.
Almost, yeah. And then it had like the G Unit logo on the top. Like, yo, I would rock that shit to school, bro. Like in India. Like, I didn't give a fuck. Like,
yeah, G Unit was the shit. That was an era that I loved. That shit would make everybody want to be a gangster, like no matter who they were.
But even if say G Unit was like the number one group of that era, dude. But even Dipset, bro, which never had that massive like as far as like maybe platinum plaques, but like even they were a movement in itself. So it's just crazy how like you can go through like the list of like so many New York artists, bro, and it's just like wow, like that shit. Again, I'm probably biased as fuck because I'm from New York. But I feel like I go to other cities and it's like they know all the same fucking songs that I knew. And it was like now we can just fucking download that shit on fucking Spotify. Like, yo, you had to be checking for this shit. Yeah. Otherwise, you did not know about this.
No, for sure. Like BET, I used to watch 106 in Park a lot, and most of the videos were from New York artists. So I think for the most part, like that was all the music I consumed. With the exception of, so now when I think about Atlanta artists actually and Southern artists, I'm thinking of like Ludacris, and people like that who are still kind of MCs. They're not doing the typical Southern rap right now. But yeah, like Jay-Z and Memphis Bleak and all those dudes were huge for me growing up. It's crazy to see how much music has changed and how much younger it seems to have gotten. Like when I saw these dudes when I was 13, like they seem like they were fucking 35 to me, but now these kids look like seem like they're 14 to me, and a lot of them are.
Bro, yes, they are. Dude, 50 Cent dropped in the club at the age of 31. You know what I mean? Like that is wild, bro. Like he was
that
31
makes me feel better.
Yeah, like dude, he was a fucking like a man, like a grown ass man, bro. Like so, like it's. Like, yeah, like things are just, for sure, yeah, artists are coming. I mean, good for them. If you come out sooner and you actually are an artist, like you will have a long lasting career and make a fucking shit ton of money in your lifetime. But that probably makes sense why when they were coming out older, they felt that need to be like an entrepreneur. Like they couldn't just do music, right? It was like, you know, Jay-Z was this, but also Rockaware, then this, then that, you know, like, and obviously now he's a fucking billionaire. But I feel like they probably felt they had to do that because they were just like, yo, I'm already fucking 30. I need to fucking like get shit popping now. Yeah. Whereas like maybe like a fucking, I don't know, like, you know, a young rapper like Lil Baby's like, bro, I'm just gonna try to focus and be the best rapper out there because I got plenty of time to fucking make billions if I want to make billions. I don't know, I just like a concept. It popped in my head, but it kind of makes sense. It's like the overview of life. Like, all right, like hip hop is an avenue I can finally make money, and now you keep making more and more and more and more of it. Yeah, I don't know. It kind of played out that way, I think.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, also obviously the young rappers are like super fascinated with just chilling with bitches and doing drugs and clubbing and stuff, which I mean I'm sure is fun to them for the first couple of years, but I feel like someone like 50 Cent, who probably was already exposed to that for all of his 20s, is like, fuck it, I just need like
someone like who already got shot 9 times. Like, you know what? I need to make my money now. Like, I don't got time. Like, I'm on borrowed time. Like, for sure. Like,
that'll kickstart you into fucking changing your life around and starting a business.
Yeah, I'm gonna start producing TV shows. Like, I don't got time for other shit, dude. I just do a quick rundown of a couple other things that's happened over the past 7 days. Akademiks and Freddie Gibbs getting into it. You want to tell people like what happened?
Yeah, so I was actually watching the Everyday Struggle show when it happened, and essentially there was a debate around whether or not Freddie Gibbs was more or less relevant than Young Jeezy, because there was an interview where Freddie Gibbs basically said Young Jeezy isn't hot anymore or something like that, and Akademiks argued that Young Jeezy is hotter because his music is still selling more, he's making more money, therefore Young Jeezy is hotter, and it was just a petty comment from Freddie or something. Wayno argued on the flip side that no one's checking for Young Jeezy's music at this very moment, therefore Freddie is hotter at the moment. And Akademiks and Wayno went back and forth. I knew Freddie Gibbs was going to respond. I didn't think he was going to respond that quick, but then again, everyone has nothing to do, so I'm sure all his fans fucking retweeted him and messaged him and sent the clip, and he's like, fuck this motherfucker. Not only do I have a hot ass album with Alchemist, but I'm gonna respond because it's gonna make it even hotter. So sometimes when I see these scenarios play out, I feel like there's always like somewhat of an ulterior motive, but I do agree with instances of both arguments. I think Freddie Gibbs is definitely more in the limelight right now than Young Jeezy is. Like, I actually did add a Young Jeezy song to my playlist last week, which is kind of crazy because I randomly just was thinking about his music. But besides that, I mean, yeah, Freddie Gibbs is the talk of the town right now in comparison to Young Jeezy, even though he only sold whatever amount he sold. I think he said 20,000, 50,000 or something.
Who's even buying fucking albums, right? Yeah. I feel like when you sell one album, it's like, wow, who the fuck would buy an album right now? Like, why is that even? But dude, I feel like that's weird though, because I feel like Akademiks took what he said out of context though, because I think before that statement, Freddie Gibbs did acknowledge that. Like, I don't think it was ever a diss. It was like hey, like, yeah, G's a legend, but like in comparison, no one's really checking for his music right now. Like, I feel like I never read it as a fucking like diss or like like throwing shade at fucking Jeezy in any way.
But what was that statement in response to, like, Freddie Gibbs?
I think he's got a question about like, hey, like hot rappers in Atlanta back in the day or whatever. Like, it was like a response to a question. But like before that statement that Akademiks like lost his mind over, I'm pretty sure Gibbs like gave respect to Jeezy and called him like a legend in the hip hop game, who just isn't relevant right now because no one's checking for his music. Like, which is fucking accurate, like on every level. Like Outkast, like no one's checking for Outkast. Like, you know what I mean? Like that could be applied to anyone, bro. Like, yeah. So I don't know.
I feel like, I mean, I'd have to watch it and see how Freddie Gibbs delivered it. I feel like it always depends on how someone says something, because if it was an instance where he kind of inserted Jeezy's name just for no reason, like to kind of play this game of where he's gonna slander him or whatever because they don't have a good relationship, then in that instance I see how it could come across as kind of petty. But at the same time, I don't know if it makes sense to say Jeezy's hotter than him just because he's created his discography from 10 years ago or whatever is technically making more money for him than Freddie's right now. Like Megan Thee Stallion, for instance, is hotter than Lil' Kim, but for all I know, Little Kim has fucking 50 lifetimes worth of fucking money versus Megan Thee Stallion at this point.
Yeah, so I think the point was, I feel like that's where it got confusing from like everyone's perspective, because like I feel like Akademiks made it about like who's making more money right now, as opposed to who is relevant in music right now and hotter in the sense like, dude, like I'd rather listen to a Freddie Gibbs new album produced by Alchemist than Jeezy's, Pressure Part 4 or whatever that came out, 6 months ago.
Yeah.
That's just like a fact. Or like no one's, I don't know what the numbers are. Like no one's talking about Jeezy's new music like they're talking about. Dude, the Freddie Gibbs album got voted top 50 albums of the year thus far. We're like in the top 10. Like it's a fucking good body of work. So it was just weird how like Akademiks just ran with like, well, this guy makes more money than him now. I'm like, hey, bro, no one's talking about that, bro. We're talking about like the quality of the music. And like, it's a fact. Like, bro, like people are talking more about him musically right now than, like, everyone has their fucking time. So I know for me personally, I didn't think it had to become what it became, as far as like the beef and like, a rapper going at a blogger and a blogger attacking a rapper, blah, 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 like stay in your lane. I was like, bro, like, dude, what was said wasn't so outlandish. Like there's perfect context, bro. Like, yes, maybe he makes more, like Diddy makes more money than fucking Drake, but like no one's checking for Diddy music. You know what I mean? Like it's just like, so yeah, maybe he's hotter, but like who cares? We're not talking about financially, bro. Like, and like it should never be like, all right, who sells the most records? Because then in that case, like, all right, because 6ix9ine went number one, so he's the hottest thing in the fucking world, right? Like, come on, bro. Like it doesn't. I feel like it doesn't work that way.
From what I noticed, Akademiks is very hung up on the numbers in terms of determining like, the impact, engaging who's hot and who's gaining traction and this and that. But I think it's really hard to use that as a barometer for like what someone's relevancy is, because I mean relevancy comes and goes, and I don't think anyone's implying that like Freddie Gibbs is gonna be the hottest thing forever. Like it's
right, but he's the hottest thing right now. Like he's one of the hottest rappers
compared
right
to
now,
Young Jeezy. People are talking about Freddie Gibbs right now. There's no really debating that, and no one's saying Freddie Gibbs' body of work is, superior to Young Jeezy's or anything. I think he's just hung up on the numbers. Like this dude's making more money, therefore he's bitter for making any commentary, and therefore he should be quiet. Because I think he kind of thinks puts himself in that own light in reference to like other blogs and media outlets and stuff. It's like, I have more subscribers, therefore your opinion doesn't matter. People don't fuck with you. You're not impacting shit. I'm impacting more. And it's like, that's not, numbers isn't the only thing that determines, how massive your influence is.
100%, dude. Think about it. He was going into like, my mom has a bigger house than you. I'm like, bro, what? Like, how did the conversation come to this? Like, where? Like, this is taking a massive left turn. Like, bro, like, what are we talking about right now? Are you just defending G's? I don't know. It was weird. And the funny thing is, like, for someone who talks about numbers nonstop, like, he didn't talk about how like his boy 6ix9ine was number one last week and is not in the top 25 right now on Billboard. You know what I mean? Like, no one's talking about that. So it's just like, come on, bro. You can't be so hung up on just the fucking numbers. Because, again, especially now when these numbers don't matter, bro. Like, they're not an indication of, like, what really is good music. So, I know that was a very awkward exchange, I felt.
Oh, it was awkward. And it got, like, really heated, too. I mean, I don't know if any of these dudes would actually do anything to Akademiks. One, because it's, like, broadcasted all over the internet. And two, he's not, like, no one thinks Akademiks is about that life, so it's not like there's gonna be a shootout or some shit. So I don't know where any of this stuff will really go, but I mean, at the end of the day, it kind of helps out both parties because it's pretty harmless and they're both getting attention for it.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's probably gonna help Freddie Gibbs' numbers now, though. Like,
for sure.
He might have the number one album in the country next week.
Yep. Then he's gonna thank Akademiks. They're gonna have an interview, squash the beef, and then they're gonna make money, and all the fans are gonna look retarded for trying to pick a side.
100%, and they're gonna be like probably best friends after this. Yeah, for sure. So before I go into heat of the week, definitely some new music we're checking for, but I feel like we have to talk about like cancel culture coming for our boy Virgil. and the copy and paste fucking debacle that is the cover for Pop Smoke's new album coming out on Friday. So dude, that was just bad, bro. Like, and I'm a Virgil fan, heavy. But bro, like, if you play the oblivious card and just say, bro, like, I had a whole vision in mind and I didn't copy and paste it, like, bro, it looks bad. Like, it looks bad.
Yeah, it was awful. And that is literally, it might be the only picture I've fucking seen of Pop Smoke, like, when I first heard about his death. Like, it was just that picture of him in the blue shirt with the side look or whatever.
Yeah.
The most Googled picture of him. And just, like, some fucking barbed wire. Yeah.
It's like, I don't know if he picked that because, like, that's his Pop Smoke Pop Smoke was at his fashion show in Paris wearing, like, walking for him in off-white. So, but, bro, you could pick that picture or draw something, like, bro, like, I don't know, bro, like, this guy's dead, bro, and he picked you specifically to fucking design this album. Like, bro, you gotta come correct, bro.
Even if they, like, cartoonified it or some shit, I would have been like, okay, it's a little artistic.
Look what he did for, like, Nav and fucking Kid Cudi. Like, those are fucking great artwork. I'm like, bro, you can't do that for a guy who's not even here anymore, bro. Yeah. Like, you just get the fucking guy. Beer Bong and Bentley's cover. Jumpman cover. Like, what are we doing?
Barbed wire is, like, the most stereotypical rapper shit you could ever put on, like, an album cover and mixtape cover. Like, barbed wire and, like, random pit bulls and, like, lean. Like, what else could he have thrown on that shit?
Yeah, dude, he said he was going for the rose that grew from the concrete kind of theme. I'm like, bro, like,
what rose?
There's roses, like, in between the barbed wire. There's, like, diamond roses and shit. But, bro, the picture looks like you just fucking photoshopped it and placed it in, like, dude, I'm like, bro, you're legit the biggest designer in the world. Like, that can't be what you... Because, like, he submitted it as, like, the final. It wasn't even like, hey, this is an option. It's like, no, it is this. And, like, the fans are like, nah, nigga, it's not that. Like, we're not going to let that happen.
I almost feel like this is an example of why we shouldn't place too much power in the hands of these people that have reached this status. Because I understand, like don't get me wrong, if you worked your way up to a certain point, like, you deserve every right to have a price that is fitting for, like, the quality of work you normally deliver.
Yeah.
But I guarantee there's, like, some fucking 17-year-old in his basement who could within a couple days make, like, the most groundbreaking, dopest artwork for Pop Smoke, and might, if this was like a no-name artist, might have only charged like $30 for it. Meanwhile, Virgil will probably charge someone like $1 million to fucking do a logo or something, and will come out with a result that's not even close. It's just weird how that works. It's like brand and reputation will allow you to charge, 150,000 times what a regular person would, but you're not delivering that same elevated value in whatever it is you're producing.
100%. It's dude, it's fucking privilege of a brand. Again, a brand that I get you worked for. So, right, you did do the work. But yeah, dude, that was the most, like, direct abuse of fucking privilege I've ever seen as far as, like, a designer's concerned, bro. I'm like, Jesus Christ, bro. Like, yo, you did nothing here. Like, you legit just merged 3 pictures on, like, fucking Windows media players and bullshit. Like, yeah, here's what it is. Like,
it's like those artists who fucking will, I don't know, splash, like, the paintbrush onto a blank canvas, and then everyone in the room's like, oh my God, this is art. This is life-changing. Oh my God.
Yeah, 100%, bro. Yeah, so that was wild. But I am looking forward for the Pop Smoke album. The features came out already today. Yeezy's just dropped a new song today with Travis. I haven't checked that out yet. So I'm gonna check it out.
I have.
Is it good?
Yeah, it's actually amazing. The snippets didn't do justice. It sounded kind of weird to me, but I definitely wear good headphones and, like, be in the zone. Like, the beat and everything, like, it just works out really good.
Okay, I will definitely check. I'm gonna listen to it literally when we hang up. Dude, honestly, as far as music, I got nothing new. Because we got the Jack Harlow stuff out last week. Dude, honestly, like, yo, I was just going through the Jadakiss and, like, Fabolous catalog, bro. Like, that was my hit of the week. Like, I may add a couple songs from that to play this, bro. Because, like, I went for a run. Because I was actually amped to watch this versus last night. So I went for a run, like, an hour before. And I just had, like, Because the cool thing, bro, like I guess like that shit got so big versus that Apple, like you actually could watch Versus on Apple Music last night. And they actually made like a cheat sheet playlist for it. So
oh wow,
I played the playlist last night, and it was like, bro, they just have so many fucking classics. So that's my hit of the week, bro. If you have some time, just go check out some of Jadakiss and Fabolous catalog, and I'm gonna add a couple songs to the iTunes playlist for sure.
Nice. So for me, just with everything going on, I've been kind of trying to listen to more conscious music, I guess.
Nice.
Get me in the zone, like, make sense of everything. So, and Lupe Fiasco, who is an artist I highly respect. I think we had a discussion a while back about like top artists, and somehow I completely forgot him in the first list I gave. But one of my friends is a huge fan of him as well.
Okay.
I've seen him be pretty vocal on Instagram Live and stuff, just talking about, wearing a mask and how we should do it and all that stuff. And some people are like, but you're the woke guy. Like, you're supposed to tell us not to wear a mask and that COVID's fake and the vaccines are going to track us and shit. And he's like, you guys are fucking stupid as hell. But I went back to... I know I need to. But I went back to his recent catalog because I honestly hadn't like listened to it much, probably because it didn't make as much noise as other stuff.
Because there was a time where Lupe was that dude. Like you just felt like Kanye was trying to like really make this guy the next massive thing. But once he got, I mean, again, everyone, I don't want to say falls off, but like, dude, like there's also a point in life where like you can also realize, I don't want this way, you know what I mean? Like I don't want to be this big. Like there's too much other pressures that come from me having to change who I am. And like some people are just like, I'm already rich, why the fuck should I change myself as a human being? So I feel that's more what happened with him, as opposed I don't think he ever fell off, because bro, he's so talented,
for sure. Super talented. I think his music does go over people's heads a lot, but if I had to choose like Destiny as an artist, I feel like he's just perfect because he doesn't probably have to deal with the same bullshit that like a Kanye would have to deal with. So I went back to his catalog. The album, which was released in 2018, is called Drogas Wave. And the song that I came across that I fell in love with is called Manila.
Manila?
Yeah, it's actually a banger. Like the beat slaps super hard.
All right, send it to me after this.
For sure. And the song just basically talks about, in a very lyrical but dope way, of slaves being captured and put on slave ships and that sort of story. Nothing like that we haven't necessarily heard too much about before. Apparently Manila is actually an African bracelet, which I guess may have been used like as commerce to trade slaves and stuff like that or something. I had to do more research, but the fact that like a rapper like this would encourage me to research more about our history and stuff is cool, because I don't really get that much from other forms of music.
It's very vanilla music right now. Like as far as like they're not trying to make you overthink. Like they want you to get it as dumbed down as possible. But
for sure. But yeah, that's my hit of the week. That was
nice.
Really dope track.
So was that his most recent 2019 album, or when that come out?
2018. I don't know if he released the 2019 one just because I wasn't able to find anything on Spotify. Maybe it was like something unofficial, but I have to double check.
Nice, dude. All right, man. Any last thoughts for episode 35 being the books?
Nope. Just tune in to the playlist as well as the podcast. Obviously, share with your friends and spread the word.
Yeah, man. Everyone have a safe and happy July 4th, and pray for America.
Yeah.
Peace.
Do it. Peace.